Before the silence, there was the Symphony of Gold. Valerius was not born in the barren lands. It was violently carved out of the primordial woods. They did not just cut down the ancient trees, they gilded their stumps. Emperor Calin I envisioned a city that would outshine the sun. He ordered the deep roots to be hollowed out for amber and emeralds. Soon, the greatest empire the world had ever seen rose beneath the canopy. The wild rivers were tamed, forced to flow through aqueducts of pure silver. The beating heart of human commerce was not built on stone, but on subjugated nature, where a single drop of sacred tree sap was traded for an ounce of pure diamond. They say Calin paved the elevated avenues with polished petrified wood and built colossal fountains that poured crimson wine into the lower valleys. Poverty was banished beyond the wall of ironwoods. Inside, there was only a perpetual state of indulgence. Even their beasts were mocked with luxury. Great stags wore antlers cast in solid gold. At night, Valerius did not sleep. Thousands of crystal lanterns hung from the colossal branches, turning night into day. A ceaseless celebration of human triumph over the untamed wild. Their furnaces burned the oldest, most sacred woods to forge a currency that ruled the earth. They built observation towers that pierced through the emerald ceiling, mapping the infinite voids of space from the tops of subjugated pines, gathering all the knowledge of the ancient world into a single mind. They conquered the ancient forest not with prayers, but with steel, fire, and absolute logic. From his highest balcony, carved into the mother tree, Calin looked down. He did not see a harmonious kingdom. He saw an entity that had outgrown the need for gods or spirits. The people no longer prayed to the forest. They prayed to the golden throne that crushed it. The golden epoch brought absolute prosperity. But prosperity is a dangerous drug. When you have bought everything the earth has to offer, the only thing left to buy is power. The empire grew restless in its gilded wooden cage. To sustain their impossible wealth and feed the endless fires, they needed more lands, more blood. The architects stepped aside, dropping their compasses, and the generals took the stage, drawing their swords from the dark. The era of building was over. The era of conquering had begun.
But with absolute power came a darker, insatiable ambition. The empire grew restless in its gilded cage. They no longer sought just wealth. They craved a grand war to stretch their borders beyond the horizon. The golden foundries were repurposed to forge a new kind of currency: steel. They began building a massive army, stripping the humanity from their men, training them into relentless warriors with cold, unforgiving eyes. In the shadows of their grand halls, meticulous plans were laid to swallow every realm on the map, piece by piece. To fuel this war machine and prove their absolute supremacy, they committed the ultimate sacrilege. They set fire to the very statues of the ancient forest gods they had once carved from the primordial woods. The old idols burned to ash, lighting the way for a new era of conquerors. And so, the march began. They descended upon small, fragile lands that braced themselves in desperate, agonizing defense. But any hope of resistance was merely an illusion when faced with an endless, unstoppable tide of iron.